More and more, I'm coming across videos on YouTube with titles like, I'm selling my retro collection. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to see. Look, I get it. Life happens and priorities shift. Responsibilities take over, and sometimes these games we cherish become a valuable resource to fund more important things or help us through tough times during life. For others, it's about downsizing their collection to regain space, or perhaps they're simply fallen out of love with the game collecting hobby and decided it was time to move on. Whatever the reason, seeing these videos got me reflecting on my own game collecting journey. I've been at it now for over a decade, and my collection currently stands at around 500 games. While that might sound like a lot, it's relatively modest compared to some collectors and YouTubers who showcase massive libraries of thousands of titles. But for me, it's never been about the numbers. It's about curating a collection that I genuinely love and can actually enjoy. I've also made it a point to collect games in a way that's sustainable both financially and emotionally. If the day ever comes when I decide to sell my collection, I want it to be on my own terms, not because life forced my hand. In today's video, I want to share tips and strategies for collecting games sustainably, ensuring that this hobby remains fun, manageable and rewarding without causing unnecessary stress or financial strain. Let's get into it. The first way to make game collecting sustainable is to focus on games you'll actually play. I know, revolutionary, right? But seriously, many collectors fall into the trap of buying games based on rarity, how good they'll look on the shelf, or even out of fear that rising prices will make them unaffordable in the future. Xbox 360 Marketplace closure, anyone? Now, I'm not here to knock anyone's collecting habits. If rare finds like mint condition Super Nintendo games or those sought after only on PS4 sleeves are your passion, more power to you. But if you're like me and lean more towards being a gamer over a collector, take some time to figure out the games and genres you truly enjoy and focus your collecting habits on what brings you the most joy. For example, me personally, I love Japanese role-playing games. They probably make up about 90% of the games that I play, and my collecting habits naturally reflect that. I've also been focusing more on modern consoles like the PS4 and the PS5, as those are the systems I use the most currently. It just makes sense to me to align my collecting habits with the systems I actually play currently. You might need to experiment a little to discover your favourite genre or platforms, but trust me, once you do, your collecting will become much more purposeful and enjoyable. Being a game collector doesn't mean you have to shell out big bucks for every title you want to add to your collection. With a little strategy, you can enjoy gaming without breaking the bank. For starters, digital games can often be significantly cheaper than physical copies. I know, blasphemous to use the D word, but especially during seasonal sales or in bundles, digital games can often be cheaper. While digital lacks the tactile appeal that physical collectors love, it's a fantastic way to play games on a budget. For example, Pentiment for the Nintendo Switch is currently £15 on the eShop, but a physical copy on eBay could set you back £50 to £60. That's a huge difference. If you are more inclined towards physical collecting like myself, it's important to be selective. Completing box games can be exciting to own, but they often come with steep price tags. If you're more focused on playing rather than displaying, loose cartridges or discs can save you significant amounts of money while still giving you access to the games you love. Plus, there are creative ways to display loose carts that still look fantastic on your shelves, so aesthetics don't have to be sacrificed for savings. For retro gaming enthusiasts, emulation is another excellent option. With devices like the Retro Pocket 5, you can access an entire library of classic games for a fraction of the cost of collecting the original copies. While it's not quite the same as holding a physical game in your hand, emulation offers a cost-effective way to experience gaming history without the high price tag. This is something I might actually dive into later this year, so keep it locked to the Collector's Quest channel if you're interested in that. Lastly, don't underestimate the value of remakes and remasters. Many older games have been updated for the modern consoles with improved visuals and gameplay. These versions are not only more affordable than hunting down original copies, but are also way more accessible on current hardware. For instance, Resident Evil remakes for modern consoles deliver the same haunting zombie-filled experience as the original PS1 copies, but at a fraction of the cost. By exploring options like digital sales, loose copies, emulation, and remakes, you can build an incredible gaming library without breaking the bank. It's all about finding a sustainable approach that fits your collecting style, whether that means focusing on digital deals or building a nice loose game collection. I often talk ad nauseum about building a curated collection and why it's so important. If you're interested how I approach this, be sure to check out my video on game collecting burnout and how I overcame it. But in short, one of the main reasons my collection hasn't taken over my entire room is that I regularly cycle games in and out of it. Our gaming tastes evolve over time. Titles we once craved might no longer feel appealing when it's time to actually play them. Something I like to do every now and then is dedicate an afternoon to picking 10 games from my shelf and giving each one 20 to 30 minutes of playtime. It's a quick and effective way to reassess your value in your collection. Some games shoot to the top of my backlog, while others reveal themselves as titles I'm just not excited to play anymore. If a game falls into the latter category, it might be time to part ways with it. This simple exercise of playing through my collection to see what games I want to keep in there not only keeps my collection manageable, but ensures it's filled with games I genuinely care about. As I mentioned before, whenever I come across games I no longer want in my collection, I stick them in a bag and remove them from the games room. After a couple of weeks, when it's time to sell or trade them, if I still feel the same way about them, I'll take them to CEX and trade them in for those sweet vouchers. Of course, you could also sell them for cash and put that money towards something else you truly want. This process not only keeps my collection manageable, but also ensures that every game on my shelf has a purpose. By cycling games in and out, you're constantly refining your collection into something that reflects your current tastes and interests. It's a great way to avoid feeling overwhelmed by a cluttered shelf and can reignite your excitement for the hobby. Remember, your collection should evolve with you. It's not about holding on to everything, but about cherishing what truly matters to you as a gamer and a collector. Collecting games doesn't have to be an expensive endeavour. There are plenty of ways to expand your library without breaking the bank. One fun and creative approach is to try a budget-friendly challenge, like a CEX budget challenge. Set a small budget, head to your local CEX and see how many great games you can score within your limit. It's not only a great way to discover hidden gems, but also adds a layer of excitement to your collecting journey. Another excellent option is to dive into the world of indie games. These titles are often more affordable than the big budget AAA releases, yet they deliver unique, memorable gameplay experience that stand out from the mainstream releases. Many indie games even have physical releases on systems like the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, making them fantastic additions to your collection. From emotional narratives to innovative mechanics, there are tons of indie hidden gems just waiting to be explored and discovered. By incorporating budget challenges and embracing the indie scene, you can build a diverse and impressive collection without stretching your wallet. It's all about finding value in the joy of discovery. Game collecting can quickly become an expensive hobby, so setting aside a monthly budget is one of the smartest ways to keep it sustainable. Knowing how much you're willing to spend each month will help you stay on track and prioritise your purchases. To make your budget go even further, explore alternative ways of finding games without paying the full retail price. Start by exploring local car boot sales and charity shops, which often hold hidden treasures at a fraction of the cost. Game bundles are another fantastic way to save money. Platforms like Facebook Marketplace and Vinted are excellent for finding affordable deals on multiple games at once. You can even take these finds to CEX, trade them in for cash or vouchers to further expand your collection without breaking the bank. Another tip is to plan ahead. Games tied to popular movies or TV shows often experience price spikes when the franchises are trending. Think Fallout, The Last of Us or Sonic the Hedgehog. All these franchises saw their game prices rise around the release of the TV shows or movies. If you can anticipate a resurgence in popularity, try to snag these titles before demand skyrockets. With a little foresight, you can build an impressive collection on a budget or even profit by buying in bulk and selling or trading them during the hype. That being said, not every video game adaptation is guaranteed to be a hit. Borderlands, we're looking at you, what an absolute flop. So approach this strategy with caution. Game collecting is an amazing hobby, but it's also one that can get out of hand if we're not careful financially, mentally, and even physically with the space it takes up. That's why sustainability is so important when it comes to game collecting. Whether it's sticking to a budget, finding creative ways to save, or curating a collection that truly reflects your gaming passion, small changes can make a big difference in keeping this hobby enjoyable for the long term. Sustainability isn't just about saving money, it's about being mindful of your resources, whether it's cash, time, or just emotional energy. Collecting shouldn't feel like a burden. It should bring you joy, excitement and nostalgia. By adopting a sustainable mindset, you're not only making collecting more manageable for yourself in the future, but ensuring that this hobby stays fun and fulfilling. So what do you think? How do you keep your collection sustainable? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. While you're down there, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the Collector's Quest channel. On this channel you'll find a variety of car boot hunting videos, pickup hauls and discussion based content just like this one you just watched. And as always, good luck on your game hunts and collecting adventures. Take it easy YouTube, and I'll catch you in the next one.